नमस्कार. महा MTB इंटरनेट पोर्टलसाठी मी शेफाली वैद्य घेऊन येत आहे एक एक्सक्लुझिव्ह इंटरव्ह्यू विथ श्री सुब्रमण्यम स्वामीजी, 6-time MP, BJP leader and a tireless crusader for Ram Janmabhoomi and anti-corruption issues. So, today we want to talk specifically about the emergency. There is a lot of false equivalence being drawn right now. People are writing that every time there is some minor incident also, they are saying this is Modi's emergency, but they don't want to talk about the real emergency. So, and today's generation doesn't know, what exactly happened during the emergency. Would you like to talk about it?
Well, first of all, when they talk about today's emergency, these incidents, are they saying is not happening in Karnataka, which is Congress ruled state? Are they saying it didn't happen when Akhilesh was in power in his office, in the chief minister's office? So, has there any BJP person been caught? Not even one person. Sangha Parivar people, not even one person. So, some rural ruffians who may be paid by Congress, because they want this propaganda to go on, they may be doing it. I know in one case I did investigate, when I saw so-called allegedly on TV, the farmers were throwing all their bananas on the road in Maharashtra. So I said, well, how can a farmer be so stupid? Then I found out that Congress party had paid for the entire truckload of bananas and then asked some ruffians to get and throw the bananas on the road. So these things have to be investigated. Earlier on, when they used to say churches are being attacked, each one of them has been investigated. It is always some private fight between the church and some ruffian elements whom they wanted to drive out. Same thing happened with the Dalit being burnt in Bahadurgarh. When after the investigations were completed, which no one challenged, in fact, all media had forgotten about it, it was found that within one Dalit Parivar, there was a dispute about land. So that one section decided to burn and kill the other section. So they burnt them alive in the house. Now the case is closed because those who did the burning, they have been prosecuted, they are in jail awaiting trial.
So when the Congress talks about that there is an intolerance issue, that people are not being allowed to speak up, it is the Congress leader, and I'm here referring to a specific movie which is Hindu Sarkar, which is being directed by Madhur Bhandarkar. So the Congress people, he came to Pune for a press conference in Nagpur. So both the press conferences, their people came and they didn't allow the director to hold the press conferences. So on one hand, they are saying that, Indira Gandhi was such a great leader, but then why do they have so much to hide? Why are they so scared?
No, I say one thing more. You don't like this film of Madhur Bhandarkar. You produced a film. What really happened in the emergency? What good happened? Why did you lose the election if you were so happy? People were so happy with you. So this is all Dadagiri. See, Congress has always been like this. They have every issue. They don't talk about daily killing of RSS people in Kerala.
That's right.
Huh? They in fact used every incident to try and defame RSS. For example, Mahatma Gandhi's murder, they put it on RSS, no evidence, no charge, nothing. But for a few days it ran in the newspaper. After that, forgot about it.
Nowadays, there is a trend with some online publications. They write very defamatory articles. Like one on such online publication, they wrote comparing the general of Indian Army to General Dyer just because he spoke in support of his writer. And then they are saying, oh, this government doesn't allow us to talk, which is, it's completely ridiculous.
No, they are all paid to do this. So don't blame them if they are trying very hard because they have no status. None of these people who do all this have status. I've seen in my own Twitter, people with 10 persons following or 2 persons following, some even 0 persons following. They write rubbish about me, I just block them. So I would not waste time on these people.
So how do you manage to pursue a case and then see it through, and go to great lengths to see it through?
Yeah, I have a mental makeup that if I start something, I will not let go till I am convinced that that is about the maximum I can do. And I believe that convincing can only come if you get the result you wanted to get. If you didn't get the result, then keep trying. That's what I've been doing. Jayalalitha, I pursued her for 22 years.
Yes.
I finally sent her to jail.
Yes. Sir, you have been through the emergency days. Could you talk to
I was the only one fighting openly against the emergency, in fact.
Could you please talk about that specifically? So
No,
that
basically I did two things. One, Jayaprakash Narayan wanted me to go abroad and then propagate there so that it will come on Voice of America, BBC, etc. And people here will listen and get to know the truth, which they are not getting to know because of press censorship. So I went abroad, escaped abroad, and because I had a warrant in my name, I escaped abroad and then set up the Swayamsevaks in London and in America in several cities, and we started propagating. And so soon enough, I had that advantage that I was a former Harvard professor, so the Americans could easily identify with me and feel confident that I'm not some hack coming from India. So we convinced the American people, and then they started putting pressure. Then the second thing I did was to shake the nerves of Mrs. Gandhi, or shock the nerves of Mrs. Gandhi, by coming into India undetected, going into parliament, detected but not acted upon, and then make a short speech that the obituary does not include democracy. What kind of obituary are we having? And then disappearing and going back to America.
Wow.
So that showed that Mrs. Gandhi is not in control of the country. And that's when she decided she will have elections, and that's how we won.
Okay. Could you talk a little bit about the actual curbs on press freedom during emergency?
No, it was just said they're putting people in jail. I know one person who when Ambika Soni was going around in a meeting where the Vidyarthi Parishad had thrown some bills, some international conference going on, so they threw some bills so that they can read it. And she went around saying, isko pakdo, usko pakdo. So journalist said, you are not a police officer, why are you telling them? So he said, isko bhi pakdo. And he had got to jail for 18 months.
Oh really? It was that bad?
Yeah, absolutely. There was much worse. Sanjay Gandhi announced a prize of ambassador car for anyone, any police superintendent or any person who could sterilize 20 people in a day.
Okay.
So the superintendent of police, what he did was, he said, go to this mohalla and pick up whoever you can and bring them, 20 of them. And these 20, some of them are old people, some were 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and they all did nasbandi on them, and then he got the ambassador car. Then the police officials' grandmother came, and she said, how did you get this car? He said, he said, then I also want a car. So he sent another truck and got another 20 people. He got another ambassador car. These kinds of atrocities took place. It was shocking.
Advaniji had said that during emergency, when journalists were told to bend, they chose to crawl actually.
Not all.
So, not all, I'm sure. Indian Express, Ramnath Goenka ji had actually shown great spine in fighting against the emergency. But now what I see is that there is this whole false debate, there is this whole false narrative being constructed that whatever this government does is intolerant, but nobody actually talks about the actual intolerant stuff.
See, they can't talk about economy. They cannot talk about governance. They can't talk about corruption because they have not made a single charge. So what do? They know that we are winning elections, so that's also frightening them. So they are making up these stories, so hoping that the foreign agencies would pick it up, and they are picking it up. But we are not bothered about it.